All right, guys. Hi, I'm Clayton with the Impressions of a Prophet podcast with Susan Easton Black, and I am on location in Independence, Missouri, and the very center of what the Lord called the center place. So we are at the temple lot. We're at the site that Joseph Smith dedicated the temple. Here, that's right there is the southwest cornerstone. So north is that way. That means the temple actual spot is kind of right here, kind of small, I'm sure you're thinking. But as we know from the podcast, there be about 24 interconnected kind of temples. What else is here? So if you look down that way where that flag is flying, that's the LDS, the Visitor Center for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And further down the road is the mission office. This very distinguished looking building is owned by the Community of Christ. It's their temple, and this is their assembly hall. And Community of Christ, of course, is the reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as it was known until a few years ago. And yeah, so this is what it looks like. This is where very early in the church's history, after its organization, leaders of the church were sent here to preach to the Lamanites, and they couldn't even get past, they weren't allowed past the state line, which is west of here, not that far. They found this place, and it was revealed to Joseph Smith what it was to be, the new Jerusalem. And one day, everything that's been prophesied about here will happen, and this will be the center place again. So that's all. And I just wanted to mention that this land is owned by the Church of Christ Temple Lot, which is that building right there, not by our church or by the Community of Christ. That's all. That was all. Okay, guys, just wanted to give you kind of an overview from above, as it were, of kind of the area we're talking about. So we're in Google Maps here, and this is North America. The place we're talking about is here in Missouri, where all these blue kind of marks are. It's almost in the center of the United States. The actual center is more like over here in Kansas. Okay, so here's Missouri, and these are the places we're talking about. This very bottom one is Independence, and the one right across the river to the north is Liberty, where the saints fled across the river, and we're in Clay County. That's in Clay County. This blue marker here is the Kansas City, Missouri Temple, as we have it today. This one over here to the east is Richmond, Missouri, in Ray County. That's where David Whitmer and Oliver Cowdery kind of lived out the end of their lives, and they're both buried there, and the Three Witnesses Monument is in that town. And then these two guys to the north, there's this other one further north. This one here on the west kind of side is Far West. We've talked about that, and I actually would like to do a video. I have one recorded to show you that later. I also have would like to do one for Liberty and also Adam-on-Diamond. So this is Far West. What's this one straight to the east? Well, that's Haun's Mill, where the Haun's Mill massacre occurred. To the north, this one here, can you guess what it is? It is Adam-on-Diamond. So I was just looking at this today, and it's been taught, not directly from Joseph Smith that we have a record of, but Brigham Young and George Buchanan and who else was it? That the Garden of Eden was located in or near Jackson County down here, and we know that Adam and Eve were expelled from the Garden of Eden, and they dwelt in Adam-on-Diamond. And it just occurred to me that, the saints were expelled from that same place in Zion and Jackson County, and they ended up living, well, some of them lived in Adam-on-Diamond, most of them lived in far west, as I understand. Okay, so those are those locations, just to, I don't know, give you an idea of the layout of the land. And before we leave Google Maps, I just want to show you kind of a zoom in of Independence. So you can't see it very well here, but that's Independence. This is the Kansas state line, so that's Kansas. This is all Missouri. It's about 10 miles from Independence, Temple Lot, I guess, to the state line. And if we zoom in, you can kind of see the area that we saw from the ground. Here is the actual dedicated temple site. The Community of Christ Temple's this. The auditorium is that. This is the Visitors Center, Stake Center, the mission office. I was curious to see where the courthouse was that the Lord mentions in the Doctrine and Covenants and the Revelation, saying that the site for the temple lot was just west of it. Well, that courthouse is right here. The old courthouse. There's a new courthouse that was built a couple years later, but the old one is right here. First courthouse of Jackson County. And if you want to see that from the ground, which of course you do, it's a log structure, and it was 2 rooms. And that's what it looks like today from the outside. More log. Oops. Back here. That's it. And yeah. You can't see the county lines on Google Maps. You can only see one county at a time, but I found this other map that does show county lines. So this right here is Jackson County. This is today, by the way. I'll show you a little difference from earlier times. This is Jackson County, where Independence is, right about here. Straight north is Liberty, and this one is Clay County. And then Richmond is in Ray County. I think it's right about here somewhere. And then just to the north of that is Caldwell County. This is the one that when they kind of voted in Clay County and trying to get rid of the Saints, did get rid of the Saints, and they voted to send them to either hell or Wisconsin. Alexander Donovan, as I understand, was kind of the one who spearheaded the effort. Hey guys, can't do that, but let's make a county where nobody lives right now. Maybe there were some people who live there, I don't know. But let's make a county where the Saints can go live, and we'll do that. So they made Caldwell County. And then, I guess, against the wishes of everybody down there, they went into Daviess County, where Adam-on-Diamond is. And they apparently didn't like that, them getting out of their little pen. And we know all the stuff that resulted from all that. So yeah, that's a little showing you the counties and kind of where those are. So the counties, actually, in the olden days, this is a map from 1831, were little different borders. I think they must have made them bigger, and then they chopped them up to make smaller counties. But at the time, this was Jackson County was longer. Right now, it just is this upper part. Clay County was also longer. Right now, it's just the lower part. Ray County was, I think, shorter and narrower. At the time, it was just maybe right here, I think. And then Caldwell and Daviess would have been up there. But anyway, just so you know that. And then another map from that time, from 1831, when they went there, shows the United States at the time. And you can see that the states were all on the eastern part of the country as it now is. So Missouri was the very edge, very western edge, along with Arkansas and Louisiana. Beyond that, to the west, this map is calling it Missouri Territory. And then you've got Mexico over here, which is now Texas and some of those other states. Got the Gulf of Mexico, what? And yeah, that's it. So hope you like that little overview of the land as it looks from above. And now we will go back to the ground level. This is us kind of driving through Independence, approaching the area where the temple lot and everything is. Getting close. Here's the auditorium. This here is Walnut Street. That's the Community of Christ Temple. That's the actual temple lot. And a couple of churches right there. The white one is the Church of Christ, also known as Church of Christ Temple Lot. I think I have the name of that right. It's the Visitor Center again. This is a stake center for Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that sits right there. And a little further up the street, that is the mission office for the Missouri Independence Mission. So there you go. And I want to show you standing on the corner of Walnut and River. That's the temple. There's looking north. That's the temple lot. Little plaque they've got there. Auditorium again. There's Walnut Street. That's looking south. That's the Visitor Center again. Here's another little view of the temple. That is looking west now, going down that street. Would you like to see the Visitor Center real quick? Look inside. So that's from the outside. We'll walk up these steps and see what it looks like inside. There's walking in the door, some of my handsome elder companions there, another senior missionary there, ready to talk to you and answer any questions. Just going into some of the displays that are there, kind of neat. You can learn a lot, especially if you are unfamiliar with the church. But even if you are, it's pretty neat. There's the lower level, just a quick look at that. There's some neat things to see there, all explaining the church and the doctrine of Christ and the Book of Mormon and kind of what sets our church apart. And now let's drive around the area. If you're still with me, I don't know, but if you are and you're interested to see what Independence looks like today being, again, 2025 for me, as I record this, these are just some streets, within a couple blocks of the temple lot and the visitor center and everything. And it is time to go over some fun facts about Independence if you'd like to hear. So it's known as the Queen City of the Trails, also the Gateway to the West, because it was kind of the starting point for the Santa Fe Trail going kind of southwest, and the Oregon Trail going to Oregon, and the California Trail going to California. Missouri was a slave state, and in the Civil War it was considered a border state because even though it was a slave state, it didn't want to secede from the Union. That actually was kind of a bad thing in some ways. It didn't really save them. It made there be a lot of divisions within the state, and so there was a lot of fighting. In Independence itself, there was a battle a couple battles in which they think about 900 people were killed, soldiers. Independence is the headquarters of the Community of Christ. Independence was named after the Declaration of Independence. Independence is the 5th largest city in Missouri. Today it's part of the greater Kansas City metropolitan area that has about 2 million people, 2 million something. Independence is the hometown of President Truman, President Harry S. Truman, 33rd President of the United States, was president at the end of World War II. Independence has had some struggles with drug use. They do have problems with crime and economic kind of downturn or whatever. So, yeah, that's what it looks like today in 2025. Did it look different at the beginning of the world? Absolutely. Is it going to look pretty different in the future? I think so. But that's what it looks like today. Thought you'd be interested to see that. And now I'm going to cut to kind of wrapping it up with the elders in person. So again, we're here at the Visitor Center in the front. Just thought I'd introduce you to my friends and companions for this trip. This is Elder Wiley and Elder Matthews. How are you doing today, guys?
Doing good. Doing great.
So we've talked about missionaries before, but what are you guys here doing on your mission?
Well, us as missionaries, we invite others to come unto Christ by helping them receive the restored gospel that we believe that Christ's church, his New Testament church, is here on the earth today, and all the blessings, rights, and privileges are here for people to enjoy. And so we just want to share that joy and that happiness for others to be able to come closer to Christ and to be more like their Heavenly Father.
Awesome. Do you agree, Elder Matthews?
I do agree. We're here to bring people to Jesus Christ, to help them to feel his love. And that's really the most important part of this gospel, is to recognize that love that he has for each and every one of us.
So, as you can see from kind of everything we're talking about, and in the podcast too, I hope you see that it's all about Jesus Christ. Joseph Smith was here to represent and bring others to Christ, and that's what these handsome young men are here for. And that's, I guess, what Susan and I are trying to do as well in our own little way. So all the things we're talking about is about that. So thanks, elders.
Of course.
I think it's definitely really cool to remember that we're loving people because we're trying to be like Christ. And that's really the most important part of this whole thing, about this whole mission, is just loving people as Christ would do, and caring about them the way that he would as well.
Amen. If you're looking to meet with missionaries near you, Google, I don't know.
What's the best way if somebody's just like watching some random video to be like, oh, I do want to talk to missionaries? What would they do?
I think the quickest way to find missionaries would be to go to churchofjesuschrist.org, and then looking for missionary resources there. Also, you can find ads all over social media and things like that as well for learning more about Jesus Christ and things like that as well.
You can also go to comeuntoChrist.org, and you can either request a copy of the Book of Mormon, any information regarding the services we hold every Sunday, or if you just want to meet with missionaries because you have questions, you can always go to comeuntoChrist.org as well.